presentation is brought to you by the Beljanski Foundation. Over 50 years of research towards curing cancer the natural way.
So all the lectures that you've been hearing, I agree with. Lifestyle is huge, preventing disease, autoimmune diseases, cancers, and epigenetics is you might have a gene that makes you prone to cancer. Most people know what the BRCA gene is. So if you have BRCA1, you have a 65% chance of getting breast cancer, 39% chance of getting ovarian cancer. If you have BRCA2, you have a 45% chance of breast cancer, 11 ovarian cancer. So you have to question that. Why does 35% not get cancer that has that gene, the BRCA1? That's probably lifestyle. You don't trigger that gene to express itself. So lifestyle is so important, and all the things you've heard and are going to hear. Controlling stress, proper sleep, food, trying to eat organic, whole foods, as the lecturer before was talking about. Again, trying to get organic. Sometimes it's not possible. Water, highly filtered water, important. Exercise, important. And all the other aspects of health you want to try to do to prevent disease. Unfortunately, in my practice, I handle cancer mainly now. First I was a chiropractor, then a naturopath, and I'm old, and this is about 40 years ago. And for some reason I was getting lots of cancer patients back then. And I tried just natural approaches. The Gerson method, Hoxsey, Isiak, the Ravisi method, and on. All natural things. But unfortunately, the results were not as good as I wanted them to be. And I decided to go to medical school, which cost me at least 12 years of my life. So I went to med school, became board certified in internal medicine, continued training, board certified in oncology, then hematology, and I kept going. You never graduate from the University of Learning. And I tried to put all of the knowledge together to get better results for these patients. And at this point, I usually get stage 4 cancers, colon cancer, breast cancer, and they've tried natural, they've tried traditional, and for whatever reason, it didn't work. And that's why they come to me. So I try to combine many different approaches. And I wrote a book, and it's how to balance your health with conventional and natural medicine. Now, everyone would agree, and if anyone knows who Gary Null is, he is one of the early advocates, he's been around for 40 years as well, of just natural approaches, juicing and vitamins and fasting and exercise. He even says you do need mainstream medicine sometimes. If you get hit by a truck and you rupture your spleen, well, you got to sew some things up or else you bleed to death, right? So there are good and bad things in straight customary medicine. And there's good and bad things in alternative medicine. And you have to know how to put both worlds together for the best results. And I've seen people make many mistakes in either spectrum of health care. One of the mistakes that I see, and it's mainly with breast cancer, obviously mainly women, so men do get breast cancer. The big mistake is they leave the tumor in the breast, and they don't remove it when they're stage 0 or stage 1, when that is curable. Because out there in the internet and in books, there is a lot of oversimplification, deception, misinformation, lies, and charlatans, and cost people their lives. If you have a stage 0 breast cancer, that means you can't see it on an MRI, a mammogram, an ultrasound, but there was something there, calcification, they did a biopsy and it's cancer. That's stage 0, you can't measure it. Stage 1, you can measure it, it's less than 2 centimeters. When it becomes 2 centimeters, then it's stage 2. The point is, I get patients that had in 1 week, I had a stage 0 and a stage 1. They were just getting high dose IV vitamin C, and they were doing nutritional things as well. And unfortunately, it didn't work. And now they were stage 4. It was in their bones, in their liver, and then in their brain, and they both died. So they came to me stage 4, when they could have, and then ironically, they had to do chemo, they did radiation, they did some surgery. But if they would have taken care of the issue when they were stage 0 and stage 1, they would not have even had to do a mastectomy. They could have just done a lumpectomy. And they wouldn't have had to do radiation or chemo. That's the irony of the thing. So the argument is, when you go on the internet and some books, if you biopsy the tumor, you might spread the cancer. Now, I do agree to a degree. So the gold standard should be an excisional biopsy, where you go to a skilled surgeon, oncological surgeon. They know where the question of possible cancer is. They make a wide margin. They remove the entire, I'll say, tumor or mass, okay? They don't go near it. They remove the mass so they don't spread it. And on page 212 of the Hematology Oncology Manual, George Washington University, one of the best medical schools, it says that is the gold standard, to remove the whole tumor, not stick a needle in it. Because you can miss about 10% of cancers. You stick the needle in the questionable area, but the needle didn't go quite where the cancer was. And then it's a false negative. And I had a woman that came all the way out here. I have a practice not far from here, from Staten Island. She went to a very reputable hospital in Manhattan, I'm not going to name it. They stuck a needle, said you don't have cancer. She came to me, it was in her spine. And she's gone now, it's stage 4. The most current articles and oncology books will say stage 4 breast cancer is not curable. Stage 4 colon cancer is not curable at this point. I hope that changes. The point is that I want to get back to this because this is a real disheartening problem out there, leaving the tumor. So I agree, don't stick a needle, remove the whole lump. Okay, so you don't miss the diagnosis and you get that questionable area out of the body. And then you have to change the whole milieu, just like the last lecturer was talking about. All lifestyle. You want to change the battlefield so it doesn't regrow. So you got to do both. Now here, if you leave this mass in you, and you know this, it could be the size of an eraser on a pencil. That's 1 million cells. 1 million cells. It takes one of those cancer stem cells to hop into a blood vessel, a lymphatic, a neural sheath, and go to your bones, your liver, your brain. One cell, because that one cell becomes 2, then 4, then 16, 256, 512, and it takes over your body and you're dead. Okay? So that argument is very weak. You remove the tumor, you change the whole body, with all the lifestyle changes that the other lecturers were talking about, and you survive. I cannot tell you how many patients I have seen that made that mistake, and they're not with us anymore. And it sounds like a lot of people why would they do that? It's done all the time, because there's lots of misinformation. Lots of misinformation. I had a woman, I'll never forget this, she had stage 4 breast cancer. Her left arm, and I have pictures in my phone, I'll share any, you'll see horrendous pictures, make your hair stand straight up on your head, of mistakes people made and tumors coming out of them, and it's insane. So, all the lifestyle changes can prevent you from getting cancer. If you get cancer, you definitely have to do all of that. But again, as simple as it sounds, do not leave the tumor behind. And if anyone wants to talk to me about that outside, I'll be more than happy. And the first 3 chapters of my book, which is already 5 years, I think, ago, I discussed that whole scenario of people leaving the tumor in their body. And it breaks my heart. I have pictures of tongue cancer with tumors coming out of their neck, breast with weeping pus, I'll tell you one story. A woman from Wantor. She came to me. She found a product online. I'm not going to name the product. He has a very, very good internet exposure, and he sells this product that has, some selenium, some shark cartilage, and other things that do help prevent cancer. And he tells people, don't take the tumor out, just do this. She came to me, she lived in Wantor, with her 6'8" husband who was a fireman in the city. She was diagnosed as having inflammatory breast carcinoma 7 months ago. She was stage 1 then. Inflammatory breast carcinoma is the most aggressive breast cancer there is. It grows like wildfire and seeds your body. She opened up her blouse. Her breast looked like raw, bloody chopped meat. It was now in her lungs, and she was getting her lungs drained at Sloan Kettering every week. She is dead, leaving a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old behind. And she could have been cured. She could have been cured. And I called up the guy that owns this whole thing and tells people not to remove the tumor. In fact, he was on my TV station. I have a TV show on Cablevision. And I thought he was balanced, but he was not. And he tells people, even with brain cancer, to leave the tumor in their brain. Now, obviously, he doesn't know anatomy. He doesn't understand cancer. A brain tumor, when it expands, this is a closed area. So the brain, it's called herniation of the tentorium. The brain pushes down, you're dead. You can't just leave it. God helps those who help themselves. Sometimes you need fire against fire to win. Sometimes you need darts with a metal tip, not a rubber tip. It's a fight. Cancer is disgusting. So if you know anyone in that situation, please tell them you got to do everything you can to kill that monster. Everything. Natural, standard care, but you have to know how to do it correctly, right? And there's nuances, chemosensitivity testing, molecular profiling, where there's a company that gets a piece of the tumor, breaks it down, and tells you what will kill it the best. That's called molecular profiling, right? You have to detox, you have to build your immune system up, all the above. You have to do everything. Mini fasting is getting such great notoriety in mainstream medicine. There was a study in the JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, August 1st, 2016. They took women that had breast cancer, they removed it, thank God. They said to one half of the group, eat what you want, do what you want. The other half, they said, no food, 13 hours or more every day. So if you eat dinner at 6 o'clock, don't eat anything till at least 7 o'clock in the morning. No picking. They had 36% decreased reoccurrence. 36%. That is better than the drugs that oncologists give to prevent reoccurrence of breast cancer. But my colleagues don't even talk about that study, and that gets me crazy. There's no side effects by doing that fasting. And the yield is 36%. That's wonderful. My patients are doing 14 or more. I personally do 16 to 18, and I have not eaten, and I ran this morning and did other exercise. So if I'm not making any sense, I have no glucose in my brain. So, levity, longevity, yes. My time is just about up. So balance your health. There's good things and bad things in both arenas. You have to see the truth in it. The truth is in the middle usually, right? Okay. Thank you.